Raiders
this
versus
week 9.
Week 9. In your face, in your ear, in your sister's heart.
Everywhere.
Bye week, baby. Taking a
Bye
break.
week coming up.
Yeah.
Crazy shitty game against the Bengals. So, I mean, one drive, that touchdown, that's it. And then a debacle with the quarterback position. And then after that, of course, you know what we end up in coach's rearrangement, right? So
Yeah, which just typically happens when you get to that bye week. You know, I guess that's the good thing about having the later bye week. You can make those decisions. I don't think if we had like a sooner bye week, we wouldn't, we probably would have gave him more time. So, yeah. Which probably means
no, for sure.
Ridder, maybe?
It's likely. At this point, you got nothing to lose, but we'll see with the new coach on the offensive, as an offensive coordinator. Scott Turner is now the new offensive coordinator.
Son of Norv Turner.
Son of Norv Turner, which is his assistant head coach, or offensive coordinating coach.
Yep. Also
so
former Raiders coach, former Raiders and Chargers coach. So at one point we loved him, and at one point we hated him. But I mean,
once a Raider, always a Raider.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Al Davis always made that. Just one season, that's all you need.
Yeah.
So,
well, this game was, the one drive TD. Minshew, not so many turnovers. I think one turnover was a fumble.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a pretty decent start as usual, which led into the halftime. The defense doing what they do best, and 17-10 score.
Yep.
And a complete debacle in the third quarter, right? Which is what we've been seeing the last 4 weeks. So, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man, it was horrible. Like you said, in the very beginning, we looked like a competent team. We just looked amazing. We're hitting our strides. The O-line is blocking. We're catching in the yards, passing it to whoever. And it's just immediately, like, he started panicking again, overthrowing. Like, nothing was going. We couldn't run the ball. And, first half, same thing. Defense keeps it going. And then after that, Burrow just took off, man. I think he had 5 touchdowns. Like, look, Burrow
5 is a record.
No matter how bad the Bengals have been, Burrow has been considered like the top 3 quarterbacks for some folks. And, you expect him to be there, and he showed up and he put it on us. And, it's the first time that our defense couldn't keep us till the 4th. But, man, they did their best. They kept us in the first half where we should have been up more. We should have been better playing. And, it's crazy how the first series play calling is great. We did the fake runs and everything was working perfect. And then after that, it was just, like you said, a debacle. Like some of the plays didn't make sense. Sometimes we didn't look like what we were doing out there. We weren't adjusting to what the defense was doing on every play. And it was like you said, could be, they could just read our plays easily after that. And it's just same thing every week now. And this is the best outcome that we can have after,
exactly. Running on third down, things like that, and the confidence of Minshew for sure is shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And excuse me. I don't see how Minshew can bring it back. So you're right. Ridder, I mean, he got sacked 3 or 4 times. Munford over there on the left side.
Yeah, Munford and friends can't do anything, man. He's just sitting there. I was like, just take him out. What are we doing?
Yeah, he was just not coping. And Ridder, getting sacked, but still scored a touchdown with Brockett. I think I recall. And, it's time to try something different, right? I mean, obviously, Getsy, just couldn't come up with the imagination to use this offense, use the personnel in the right positions. And so now he is where he is at the halfway mark, and that is without a job, pretty much. I mean,
exactly. I mean, in the end, what hurts the most is that he wasn't really our first choice, and based on what I heard, he wasn't even our second or third choice.
Exactly.
It's like, it's just, it doesn't usually work when you get the backup, and. Because he obviously they interviewed all those coordinators, at the same time. So they clearly thought they had better schemes for what they wanted to pull. And they just couldn't get it done. So he was the only one left. I don't know if it was a fact of being cheap or not, or just, the position that we didn't really have a quarterback.
Well,
But
from what I heard, we were supposed to get the Commander's OC, but he wanted to, go and play with Jake
yeah,
Daniels.
and I also heard
He
that
turned around at the last minute.
he wanted another year also from what I
Oh,
heard, and I just heard this recently, so I don't know how accurate it is, but they said is he also wanted another year, and I think so they were only offering maybe 2 or 3, and he wanted a 4 or the 3
I
depending on
see.
what they are offering, and
Yeah.
that's what led the Commanders to come in. That's what I've heard recently, so I don't know about if that is
Okay.
true, um,
Yeah.
which it doesn't make sense, like, you give it to him, like, you gotta give this man
Well,
a chance.
they're shooting themselves in the foot. And I mean, come on, man. The Raiders deals with these kind of stuff. When it comes to dealing with this kind of stuff,
Uh-huh.
it's just bad, right? They
Yeah.
just don't know how to do it. They always come up, shooting
Yeah.
themselves in the foot.
Always come out just too cheap, just a bit too cheap. It's
Just
like, come on.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
you're supposed to go all out. You're supposed to give this guy what he needed. You give
yeah.
the coordinator, multiple years. So just in case, because if we couldn't get a quarterback, you see what he can do with these guys. And then we get the quarterback next year. And then, you give
This
the
is
guys.
this is the offensive coordinator that made a Hail Mary work. Okay, so you
Yeah,
gotta
right.
pay the man.
Exactly. And he built the offenses around Daniels, man. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yes.
like he
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
picked and built a perfect offense. And this guy did
Right.
really good with the Cardinals, like offense wise, what he built is just
Hmm.
the Cardinals weren't that good.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray's, is not the best at, when it comes to studying film and, trying to be a leader. He's definitely no Jaden Daniels and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's like we have seen this guy's experience as a play caller, and he's pretty good before he left to the Commanders.
Hmm.
So then that's what happens in the end. And you had to get rid of the quarterbacks coach, and you had to get rid of the offensive line coach clearly because the offensive line went from okay to good to
Yeah.
bad to worse, and it was
Yeah.
just like horrific. And
Yeah.
yeah, I want to put a lot of blame on Minshew, but same time, O line has to help. There were times where the O line did good, and then Minshew just, you know, did the wrong play or panic.
Yeah.
But there was also a reason why he was panicked because there's been a couple plays where that O line let us down, and he got smacked. You know, I
Yeah.
played football in high school. I know what it
Yeah.
feels like to get hit by somebody that's 100
Yeah.
pounds heavier.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? It's like as a
Yeah.
quarterback, when you're about 220 and this 240 muscled out
Yeah. Yeah, you don't
guy.
want to see anything coming your way at that point. You want to
Exactly.
throw the
Yeah.
interceptions.
Exactly. You're like, hey, just take the ball. So, but
So what do you know about Scott Turner? I know he was a Washington Commander himself. From 2011 and no, sorry, for 23, wasn't he
yeah, I
a
think he
Commander?
was for whenever they had I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Howell. And that in that year, he wasn't having the best numbers, but he was like not leading the league top 3 in passing yards. So he was like 5,000 yards. I remember something like that, but he was like everybody was like, "Well, that's a great stat, but you're not really winning." He didn't have the touchdowns to the interception ratios, but they were putting up
Damn.
numbers. And this is just
Yeah.
a guy that should be a backup quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like a Minshew type. And, if you
Yeah.
drop in 5,000 yards, you're clearly swinging the ball around and you're getting it to your players. And, the Commanders at that time only had Terry McLaurin, I think. And that's it.
Hmm.
It's the only receiver they had right now. They didn't have anybody else. So he did pretty good for the limited, what do you call it, potential he had at quarterback and offense. So I have high hopes. Nerve Turner coming in. He was a bad coach,
Right.
but he's a
Yeah.
great play caller and offensive line. Coaching. And head
Yeah.
coaching and position coaching are two completely different. Things.
Was Norv the coach while Jamarcus was around? I can't remember. What
Um,
year do we have Norv?
I want to say no. I know Nerve was around Philip Rivers, like early Philip
Oh, okay,
Rivers.
Philip
Yeah.
Rivers.
So
Okay, so but Philip Rivers played a while, man. He
yeah, he played
played
a
just
long. Yeah, remember he
as
came out
much
with
as Rom.
Eli and Ben Roethlisberger.
Right, right. Yeah, he
So
was there for Romo. Yeah, exactly.
uh
Eli. Yeah. Then he still
yeah.
played a couple years after them. So
Yeah, and I think he went to the Commanders when they were the
you're right.
Redskins.
They were the red.
Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, look, he's been around the block. The name is respected for like play callings and stuff like that. It's like the Kubiak family. So
Yeah.
and his son is the play caller, so he definitely has that mind to go to. He's not gonna overstep his son, you know. He's gonna help with, he's gonna help AP with like, what offense to call and stuff like that, and how to really call his son or their style of offense because that's what it pretty much is. It's Nerf Turner's offense that his son is taking and make his own adjustments. So the
Right.
base is still there and the concept is still there. So then, it's a great pickup, and pretty much, I don't know if it was official that Scott Turner was the offensive coordinator before or after, but as soon as I saw that he was hired, I was like, oh yeah, well, Scott Turner's the OC, and
Right.
and
Right.
then he's gonna bring in his own quarterbacks coach and his own line coach because they're in tandem, they got to speak,
The
and
O-line coach is Joe Philbin. So
yeah, Joe
he's
Philbin.
already a Raider. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and great,
Yeah.
great offensive line coach. He was a coach for the Giants, I believe. They weren't doing so good, but
Yeah.
once again, head coaching is different from position coaching. And I
Right.
do
Right.
know
Right.
they had
Right.
a good O line, and I think that was the Eli Manning years that Philbin was there. Like obviously
Yeah.
not Super Bowl, but after. Um, so
I
yeah,
wish.
I
Yeah.
wish, yeah. So that's good. That's good. Do you know who the Oh, no, that's everybody. So yeah, that's good. Look, we have nothing to
Yeah.
lose. If Ritter's the guy, then he had two
Yeah.
weeks. It's gonna pretty much be almost the same offense, just tweaked a little. And if it's not, then Minshew has to go, and we'll have a good idea of Minshew. I also didn't like that Minshew was talking about how he's not happy, being benched. But it's like, come on, man, you have to show
Yeah.
like, we're losing. We have, you're not
You
our quarterback
you
of the
got
future. It
you're
makes
not
no
being
sense.
productive.
Yeah.
You got to show
Like,
up, man. And
yeah, you're the
I mean, the
backup
same
of the
goes for
future.
AP though, man.
Yeah.
AP's on the hot seat as well, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'd have to say
Yeah.
because even though we probably do want that, maybe third or fourth pick,
Uh-huh.
in the first round, but they don't necessarily want to
Yeah.
lose, right? I mean, you don't want to
Exactly.
go tank this season. So,
Exactly.
but at
Yeah.
the same time, I think AP has had a chance to show what he can do as a coach,
Yeah.
and I don't think it's there.
Yeah.
So,
I was a big like supporter of him talking about like we got to give him a quarterback at least. But like these past couple games, like you seeing the mismanagement of the game, time,
yeah,
certain play calls. Cause yeah,
yeah,
Luke Getsy's the offensive coordinator, but AP has the choice of being like, hey, I want this instead. I don't want this happening on
exactly,
this play. So,
right,
the
right.
past couple games I have been seeing that. Is he over his head? You know what I'm saying? Or does he
Well,
just not have a quarterback?
for me is the going on 4th and 1
Uh-huh.
or taking that field goal in the last couple of
Yeah.
minutes and then kicking the ball punting. I think it was punting. Oh, I'm sorry, kicking off to the team. I can't remember exactly what happened, but
Yeah.
I know it was the Rams game. It was the
Right.
Rams game, and it was 2 minutes left, and I believe we scored a touchdown, or we had to turn it over. I don't know if you recall that, but I didn't like the fact that he made a decision there that we couldn't score on the next. We had to basically depend on the defense
Oh,
to get a
yeah.
turnover.
Yeah, we went for a field goal instead of a touchdown.
Exactly.
Yes,
Or
and
for was it a yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
because if
exactly.
we
Exactly.
needed a touchdown and a two-point conversion
Yeah.
to win, and he went for
Right.
the field goal instead, and we were like inside the 15-yard line, and it was like 4th and 2 or 3 or something like that. And yeah, because remember
Yeah.
that in that same game, I believe in the
Yeah.
first quarter, he went for it
That's
on
what it was.
4th down, but he wasn't
Yeah.
as close. It was like a bigger risk, and it's like, man, you
Hmm.
you wouldn't go for there, but you went for that time. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, it's definitely mismanagement. And it sucks because he has, the coaches there to supposedly that was supposed to help him with that.
Marvin Lewis.
Yep,
Yeah, Marvin
Marvin
Lewis
Lewis and
and
all that. And I know he had a couple coaches and it's just like that's the reason they're there for is to help you with stuff like
yeah.
that. And it's not like he's a nobody. He's the middle linebacker.
Yeah.
The guy
So
that's
he's
pretty
aware
much
of the
the
situation.
quarterback, yeah, of the defense. And he was playing in the Super Bowl, he was playing for these coaches.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
he should have more feel of the game of the management, especially when you're on defense. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is. The game management is not necessarily there for AP. I don't feel like it is. I think he's more of a hype guy.
Yeah.
Uh,
He is
you know
definitely a
this.
player's coach.
Yeah, exactly. A player's coach, and when you're there in the situation, you have to make critical calls and even think 10 steps ahead. And I don't get that
Yeah.
from AP, man.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that savvy of the game. I mean,
Yeah.
he may be aware, but I'm not, I'm not an expert here,
Right,
but
right.
it's just not the same feel I get
Yeah,
from other coaches, like
right.
let's say maybe a Shanahan or a Reed. You know what I mean?
You're right,
So
right. Yeah,
that's my concern.
he's playing checkers instead of chess. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate to say it.
Yeah,
I hate to say it.
yeah.
Yeah, well, you said it, but I
Right?
hate to,
I hate to hear
bring it
it.
up.
Yeah. But, yeah, man, and it's like it's officially a full season now because whenever he came in last year up till now, I think
Mhm.
it's safe to say last year he wasn't able to implement his own style. This year he has, and to like still be fair and like look at it as a glass half full is Campbell from the Lions. He did the same thing. He won only one
Yeah.
game his first year. The next year
Okay.
he only won 3 games, and
Okay.
then he's got him the next year after. He didn't make the playoffs, but he was like a game away from the
Yeah.
playoffs. Like you definitely saw the improvement and the players like buy into the culture, which, our players are doing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the way they did it was differently. They didn't have a high price wide receiver. They didn't have all these, places and veterans. They literally, the only one they had was
Yeah.
golf.
Homegrown, right?
Yeah,
Homegrown. Yeah.
exactly. So, they did the
There's
rebuild from the
drafted and all that. Yeah.
beginning. We've not
Right.
really
Right. Right.
rebuilt this year. You know what I'm saying? We just
Mhm. Yeah.
added on. So, this will
So you think
be,
if he gets a chance to rebuild, maybe there's an opportunity for him to be that kind of coach and it work out because now you have an OC, now you have I mean, Patrick's doing great job with the defense, so
yeah,
I wouldn't change anything there.
right. Yeah.
But at least on the offensive side of the ball, if let's say we could draft a quarterback and all that, you think AP will do a better job?
I think the type of quarterback we get, it's going to be a
Yeah.
quarterback that respects him. I really believe, I'm not saying Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback, but I think Sanders with AP, he would
Hmm.
really respect, and his father too. And they would
Hmm.
really work on it and stuff like that. He is a player's coach. Like players do love him. Even Devontae's like, it wasn't just the right situation, but I love him. And
Yeah.
so it's like, yeah, but Scott Turner's gotta be the guy, and obviously one of the
Yeah.
things is Scott
Yeah.
Turner, if he becomes really good, maybe he wants to be a head coach. And, then you have to,
Mhm.
figure that part again. You just hope by that time Sanders, or whoever a quarterback is, it's got the potential showing. And then we can work our way up. Because that's what it is. If we get whoever quarterback we get and then we show potential, like we barely losing the games, it's not because of mismanagement. It's because, it's just a really good team that's well more experienced. They'll keep them around. But they're not gonna be
Mhm.
happy with, like, a f top 5 pick again. We'll have to be like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be his 3rd year in. Technically, this is his 1st year, and next year's gonna be his 2nd, but, counting last year, 3rd season, they're gonna wanna see, like, middle of the pack, like, just missing the playoffs kinda
Right.
deal. Like, yeah, I
Right.
don't
Right.
think they'll
Right.
be
Right.
happy with a top 5 or 10 pick next season.
Yeah. No.
But,
Exactly.
yeah.
Uh.
But there's coaches, that's
So
the
do you want?
problem. There's
Yeah.
coaches, man. There's Belichick, there's Mike Vrabel, you don't
Do
even
you
know
want
who else.
Belichick? I don't want
I don't
Belichick
want
on this team,
Belichick,
man.
but you
Come
got
on,
Tom
man.
Brady and, yeah. So,
I couldn't do
it's
it. I
just the
couldn't do it.
names. It's just the name, makes
Yeah.
makes them, makes them happy and excited. But, there's gonna be other coaches too, and I think he might be pressured into like, "Oh, do I wanna miss out on a Vrabel or do I wanna miss out on another one?"
Yeah.
What if I do with AP and it doesn't work out? Now I have to look for somebody when there's no other options that you know
We
of.
know he likes shiny names, right? You
He
talking about
does.
Mark?
Uh,
Yeah, he likes shiny names. That's why we got what's his
uh,
name? McDoufles.
McDoofus. McDoofus.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
man, come on, man,
he was licking his chops whenever he got Gruden. He was like John Gruden. He was like, yeah,
dude. Dude,
and
but John Gruden has a he's got the reputation of the Raiders and he's got the a winning
uh-huh,
record and really grinding players down. I mean,
that was a
Josh
problem.
McDaniels, dude, he had his reputation was in Denver. We already saw that. We know that how that
Trash.
happened, right?
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
nobody liked him. Nobody wanted him around.
Nobody.
So
Yeah,
I don't know why he didn't listen to what happened there. I mean, and then Gruden, then you go to Tampa, where he's after being traded from the Raiders, and wins the Super Bowl. And then I think he coached another team after that. Or no, he stayed with Tampa,
he
right?
stayed with Tampa. He's just
He
garbage.
and he retired.
And it was
Yeah,
because it was the same. It was a team that Herm Edwards created. No, it was Herm
yeah,
Edwards. Tony
not
Dungy.
Herm Edwards.
Tony
Yeah,
Dungy.
Dungy, yeah.
Yeah, the team that
That's what everybody says, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then he hasn't done anything after that. And then John Gruden, like, yeah, he's an offensive genius, but man, he was working our players to the ground, man. They were literally, you can tell how tired they were in the second part, the second half. And it's
Yeah.
like, you got to give him a break, man. To figure out, I was like, come on, bro. So that was a big problem with Gruden. But, offensively,
Oh, I see.
he had he had a great offensive mind. He knows how to,
Yeah.
play, call, and scheme. He's not going to sit back and be like Getsy. He's actually going to be like, hey, read the line, make adjustments if you have to. Let's put some
Yeah.
motion. Let's figure this out. So that's the only good thing about him. But he's like he worked him too much. He just was just. It was sucks because we also had Jack Del Rio, and Del Rio gave us that
Yeah,
winning season, and then after that, it was like, bleh, and then
well, that's when Gruden came in and then let go of everybody.
yeah,
Reggie and everybody else.
we had Gus Bradley
GM there.
too. He was a good
Yeah.
one. He was a good defensive coordinator. So
Yeah, no, he got rid of everybody after that, and Jack Del Rio's gone, and of course the GM was gone, and Khalil Mack was gone.
Khalil Mack, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, he completely got rid of that.
And all the
and
money
that
he saved
situation.
and draft picks he got out of it, they ended up being nothing. They all ended up being busts.
So it's a blessing in disguise, kind of that Gruden went away, huh?
Yeah,
I mean, we're
pretty
still
much.
paying the guy.
Yeah, still
We're
paying
still
him.
paying the guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's
He's racking
The
it up.
NFL forced
He's
him to
racking it
do
up.
it. The forced the Raiders to
Paying
do
his
it.
lawyers. Paying his lawyers. He's over there beating the NFL in these cases.
Right. And now he's
Just killing it.
Now he's doing a podcast at his house. Just talking about
Yeah,
bam. You see the
nice.
touchdown? Oh, I love that guy. He touched that ball in my hands. Oh,
Oh, what?
yeah.
But
Whenever
it's
you're
fun to
in
watch,
this
though.
room,
He's
it's the
entertaining.
game room. Yeah, the game room. I
He's
love
yelling and
this. He
shit.
was in my quarterback's camp, and I love him. He's got a heart of gold. He's got that
That's
fire
right.
in him. He looked like me, Chucky. Me, Chucky.
Man. Yeah. So what do you want? You want the Raiders to keep winning? You want the Raiders to tank? Wait for the draft.
I want the Raiders to be competitive. I don't want us to lose because of penalties, because of mismanagement. Like I literally want to, I don't want to make AP look bad.
Yeah.
I want a quarterback because we need a quarterback. There's no one out there that's going to be a free agent. There's probably only really two quarterbacks in this draft, Ward and Sanders. And
Right.
we need that guy because
Right.
I don't. What are we gonna do next year? We can't go back in with Minshew and Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah.
Or Ridder, whoever it
You
is.
go get Flacco.
Yeah, right. Go get Flacco. Apparently, he brings everybody to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what else can we do? There's nothing else but to get a quarterback. And the farther we are from the first round pick, the more we have to give up. You know what I'm saying? If like for somehow, some way, let's say we make it to the 6. Let's say, it's from 2 to 6, maybe they don't ask as much. And like, hey, just give me, but it's still going to cost us. But maybe we don't have to give up a player or something like that. And, they'll still be whoever it is still in the top 10, and they can either trade back out. Because if they're trading out, that means they don't need a quarterback, and they just need to, talent around the team. So if they move back to where we were at, collect all those draft picks, and then move back again, depending on who slips, who falls, if there's another quarterback that comes up and he's right there, wake your way out. Because right now it could be the Patriots and it could be the Jaguars 1 and 2. Both of them don't need a quarterback. Both of them need talent. So, those would be, safest bet would be to trade for number 2 if you're okay with Ward or Sanders. If you want either or and you think that somebody else might want them, you got to get up to that 1. But yeah, we can't do anything without the quarterback. We have Bowers.
Yeah, no, I like.
We have Powers.
Yeah.
We have that
Exactly.
Sanders. Powers,
Exactly.
Powers, Bowers, and Sanders.
Yeah, no, I like what you said there. Play fundamental football. Don't make the coach look bad, man. Just go out there, give it your best. But if you lose, you lose. At this point, we kind of like welcome the losses, right?
Right,
I mean, we want that drive, we want the quarterback, but at the same time, just don't look like shit.
Yeah, we're gonna get the 15th pick, and then we miss out on all the quarterbacks like last year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, no, we can't do that. Like, there's nothing.
Exactly.
We don't need anything else. We can get a corner, but we need a quarterback. You know, we get a corner, the AP's not gonna be around next year. It's the year after. So it's like we have to get the quarterback. You know, if Scott Turner's good, fuck it. We'll have one more year with Scott Turner. Sanders goes through. If AP's not that good again, and we can really see that it's AP, then we fire him. You make Scott Turner the coach, and he has his own offensive coordinator. It's going to be his offense. He's just the offensive coordinator. He's going to just make play calls, and we go through it again. But we'll have a quarterback.
I hear you.
So I like AP.
Hopefully.
You know how much I like AP.
Yeah.
I just you have to have a quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I guess I just I look at Kansas City and I get jealous of the coach there. You look at what Belichick did in New England, and that's what's branded as a coach to me. You know what I'm saying? And AP's just a little different, like you mentioned, the coach over there for the Lions, and I definitely see that similarity. So
they both played. Campbell. And Campbell was a tight end.
Defense also, right? Yeah.
No, I think he was a tight
end.
Yeah, I think he was a tight end. But and the players love him, man. And look at them now. Like they're a powerhouse, bro. Like I was watching the Lions and Packers game, and they were talking about, like, obviously before last year, the Lions had lost 21 games in a row in Lambeau Field until last year when they came and they beat them in Lambeau Field for the last game of the season.
Exactly.
And then they beat them this year. Yeah. Made Rodgers get traded, and then they whooped them. Yeah. So, it's like that's the difference of a coach. And, the blessing is he had Goff. And, Jared Goff was a little bit washed, but he was in the Super Bowl. He had the experience and all of that. Yeah. So, he did have a blessing of that quarterback. So
exactly.
Let's just be competitive. Let's not get AP fired, and let's get, a quarterback and see what we can do.
Man,
yeah. Because that went Powers, Bowers, Mayer, and Mayer.
Yeah.
And that's it. Mayer, Powers, Bowers. We gonna
turn it into a haiku over here.
Right.
Man. So, quick announcement, though. Next week, Monday, we will be doing, because we're on bye week, we will be doing a live stream on Monday.
We'll be live in your ears, in your eyes, in your loved ones' hearts. Live.
Everywhere. During Monday. Watching Miami and the Rams go at it, and hopefully both end up killing each other.
Right. Yeah. Make it a good game. Overtime. Oh, yeah. Let's just do it.
Yeah, neither one is in my team, so I care less.
Yeah, I care less. I'll promise you maybe vote for the Rams just because they're in the Niners division, so it'd be nice for the Niners to not win. But
I think Monday. They only got 3 wins, the Rams. 3 wins.
I think
Miami
4 now.
With a tough loss.
Miami 4, Rams 4 now, because Rams and Cardinals are tied for first. Crazy, bro.
Okay.
Tied for first. Seahawks last, Niners third. Yeah.
I thought Seahawks were doing all right this year.
They started off good.
They beat Atlanta.
Yeah, they started off good, but then now they've lost like 2 in a row, and that division's tough. So I think they're still like 4-3 or 3-4, and they're still Rams are 4-2. I think Rams started off 0-3 or 0-2, and then or something like that. So, but Monday nights, Rams at Dolphins or Dolphins at Rams in LA.
Dolphins, in LA.
Yep, Tua's back.
5:15.
So you have that. Everybody's back. Puka's back.
Yeah.
Puka's back.
Cooper
Kupp.
I thought he was out for the season, no?
Was he?
Cooper Kupp. Yeah.
No, he was back because they were trying to trade him. Bro, they were asking for a 2nd-round pick for him. Bro, I was like, dude played like 13 games in 3 years. I'm just like, what? It's like, we couldn't even get a 2nd-round pick.
That's what happens when you're hot, man. They're going to ask for everything. You know what I mean?
That's true, yeah.
2-6 are the Miami Dolphins. And 4-4 are the Rams, just to be
4-4, bro, and they're first place. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that tells you much about that division.
Exactly. 500 in that division, first place with the Arizonas,
and I think
the Niners are tough.
Niners are tough,
but they haven't been able to finish anything.
And they're injuries, man. They're just going through injuries. And the Seahawks are up and down. The Seahawks looked really good, and then they looked really bad, and then they looked really good, and then they looked really bad. Back and forth. You know, a lot of people are like, "Oh shit, Seahawks might do something with Geno Smith," and they're like, "Ah shit, they're trash."
Yeah, really. So, then he just throws like 3 fumbles.
Exactly,
Interceptions.
exactly. So.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But
Well, yeah, Miami. Tua's back. Who knows?
Yeah. I think it's just Tua's second game back too from that concussion.
Yeah, second.
I know last game he didn't do so well. No, that's not true. They almost beat the Bills.
It was a tough loss. Yeah, it was a tough loss.
They almost beat them. So
yeah, the Bills.
Yeah, and then so I think this is his third game back because the game before is when he came back and he did horribly. So I know the last game he did pretty good. So this will be his third game back. He'll be comfortable, and he's going against Stafford. I know Stafford got hit pretty big this last game, but you know he's all right. I haven't heard or seen any injury reports on him.
Right, I haven't either. Still early in the week for injury reports.
Exactly, yeah. And then Sean McVay is a good coach. And McDaniels for the Dolphins. You know, they're both creatively minded, offensive minded coaches. So it should be an exciting game. You know, Tyreek Hill, you know, that dude's fast as hell. So he's super exciting to watch, man. And then they still have the other guy that, you know, the Tua, not a Chase, somebody else that's super fast as well. And so, yeah, it should be an exciting game. Should be an exciting game. Make sure you guys tune in.
Yeah, tune in, like and subscribe to this channel, and thank you for watching. Now,
Raiders personnel. Grab your chips and sodas. Come and watch.
Raiders